5 minutes. So we're
Okay.
gonna
Okay,
really
go.
quick.
Yeah.
Can you? What are you most excited for, like horror fans, to see from this show? And how scary can you go on Peacock?
I'm most excited for them to see a scene that we're showing today, but is heavily edited for Comic-Con. I'm excited for them to see it in its full glory because I think it's somehow the director of photography, the VFX people, practical effects people, they all came together and made something that's both terrifying and affecting, but also what I wanted to do was something, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel, but I wanted it to be something that I don't think anyone's seen before, and I feel like it reaches for that ceiling. So I'm very excited for them to see that. What was the other question?
How scary can you go on Peacock?
I think you can go as scary as you want on Peacock, until Peacock tells me otherwise, right?
Yeah, no, we've gone pretty far. I will say for my part in it, this is definitely, I've seen a lot of prosthetics in my time and a lot of, scary effects and weird things, and I think we definitely did something different and very confronting when it comes to some of the effects in this show. I remember reading it going, wow, how are they going to pull that off? And they really did.
I read the lockdown and the pandemic had a huge influence in the tone of the story. Can you elaborate a little bit and also maybe how it affects your character?
Yeah, the pandemic definitely played a part in the writing. A long time ago, a producer told me that horror, the genre, is all about isolation, which is one of the smartest things anybody's ever said to me about genre. And this was before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened, and it actually didn't. My wife and I both work from home usually, so it didn't really affect our lives in a direct way, other than we didn't have interaction with other people. But we had to kind of batten down the hatches, and you end up being a little bit of a prepper. And I became not obsessed, but I'm very interested in the idea of, okay, this is what we've got to deal with. This is what we've got to survive. This is what we've got to handle any problem. How do we do that? And the show, the thing that's interesting about, one of the things that's interesting about Teacup to me is they don't get to order anything from Amazon. They don't get to go to the store and get anything. What they have is what they've got, and that to me is, one, it's a really interesting puzzle for a writer, but I also think it focuses the story on these people and makes it sort of the characters are in sort of a pot of boiling water that they can't get out of, and they have to just deal with it.
That
was pretty good. That was pretty good, right?
I was just thinking of like the family dynamics really that have been created, because really it centers around a family, and there's some other characters that come in, and we're just kind of trapped together, basically. But we already enter, without the horror genre element, we are already entering into very sticky circumstances between the characters already, which creates a high stake to begin with. And so when we add this other element into it, it's a really fun cocktail for just wanting to keep watching something.
Thank you.
The Hollywood saying is never to work with kids and animals. And you get to do that on this series, especially in a horror genre. And I commending the child in this series. Tell us about working with kids and animals in this one.
I always thought that would be the coolest thing to do, to work with kids and animals. To write, they've got goats, and then somebody shows up with 3 goats. I mean, isn't that the dream?
The goats.
It's challenging because the animals do what the animals are going to do. They're trained to some extent, but they were really good. And I'll tell you, the kids in this show, they're insanely good. Caleb Dolden and Emily Bier. They're just, I didn't think we'd get actors like, I'm a little bit astounded even now because they're just so good that I didn't have any.
No, they were really wonderful to work with.
Yeah.
Really, truly committed, and just so excited about it. And the goats were also amazing. There were a couple moments where we were, trying to pull off a serious scene out in the barn, and then in the middle of some seriousness, you hear meh, and everyone starts laughing.
Yeah,
So, yeah. We should have that blooper reel.
We have it somewhere. Yeah.
So how do you think your characters in the show are gonna react to some of the events in the series in terms of how you're gonna work through a very difficult situation?
But this is like part of the fun part of the character, I think, is watching her grapple with everything. And what I said before is already entering into a kind of a high stakes situation, and there's a sticky situation with her husband and maybe some other people, and how she's navigating that. It's already emotionally intense, probably, I would say, and then it just gets worse and worse, really. And to watch someone in real time navigate that along with the audience. So the audience is along for the journey, discovering everything as Maggie, the character, is discovering everything. And the highs and lows of that, and having to put on the mask of bravery for your kids and for yourself with everything going on until, you crumble, and then you have to put yourself back together again and keep going and dealing with everything. And we certainly see this character deal with insanely extraordinary circumstances and having to make probably like the worst decisions of her life that I definitely can't talk about today, but I'm really excited for everyone to see.
Yvonne, how much I know you're a mother of 3, congratulations.
Thank you.
But how much of your motherly instinct actually went into the character of Maggie?
Oh, I think a lot. I think it's kind of all about her mom instincts. And certainly, it helps being a mom of 3. Of course, that comes into, you know exactly how you feel about your kids and what you would do for them. And then the rest is sort of, you get to play make-believe and imagine yourself in these circumstances that are extraordinary and strange and weird, and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and it's life and death, and what would you do, really? It's a what would you do? And I think as an audience member, you're sitting there thinking, oh my God, this is crazy. What would I do if I was in this scenario? Which is why I think it's exciting to watch.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.